Meet Dave, an interesting little human with a precarious love for the sea. He spends his days diving the chilling depths of a mysterious blue hole. And when he isn't merely surviving or rummaging resources, he's often found snapping photographs, racing seahorses, farming, and really anything that grabs his attention. It's this gluttonous appetite for adventure that gets him into all kinds of unique situations. Luckily, he's at the top of his game and at the top of the food chain. Oh boy, I suppose even the most voracious hunters have their off days. The sun sets as the vibrant lights of a sushi bar gleam over the ocean. Dave, still hard at work, is faced with the most ravenous of species, patrons. And while cooking, serving, and pouring drinks aren't the most treacherous part of his job, they're unequivocally crucial to his survival. The Blue Hole is home to unimaginable secrets. And with Dave's unquenchable thirst for discovery, there's no telling what he may encounter. Dive in and guide Dave through the dangerously dark depths of the daunting deep sea. Dave the Diver.
Hey everyone, welcome to my video on Dave the Diver. Now, this is quite an unusual game in that it is kind of two games in one. You've got your diving sim where you have to jump into the water and go hunt fish and do other missions. More on that later. But after you've caught the food, you get to run a sushi bar. Well, you get to work front of house in a sushi bar. One of the things that's really obvious about this game is that the character Cobra on the boat with the white hair is a manipulative sod, so-called friend, and he takes shameless advantage of you. But that's the game, eh? So the thing about the game is that the underwater terrain in the giant blue hole is procedurally generated, except in certain circumstances. And it might be procedurally generated within the limits of some of these missions. But as a general rule, every time you jump in the water, it's a different terrain. Oh. Now, this is the tutorial. You get to practice with your little diving knife, which is completely useless for catching fish. They don't get close enough for you to knife them, at least the ones you're catching for food. And you have a harpoon here for catching the food fish. So pressing and holding the right mouse button brings up the aiming, and you can see how everything gets darker. And then when you have the arrow pointed where you want, a left click fires it, and in most cases withdraws the harpoon pretty easily. However, the bigger the fish, the more they fight. You see even that little one there put up a bit of a fight. There are mechanics later on in the game, or when you face down the bigger fish, that allow you to haul in the bigger, more fruitful fish, if you will. And while you're diving down, of course, there's all sorts of other things to find. Shells, artifacts, raw materials for making things like wood and scrap metal, little dropped chests here, storage chest, which when you open them might have something in them, in this case a katana. Katana is really helpful. A good knife, or about as good as the knife, but it gives you longer range. I've got to get out from under these jellyfish. So quick side swipe, boing, turn around and slash with the katana. Took a while, but you can kill pretty much anything under the water with the right weaponry. You can even build guns that fire underwater. Nope, got away. Now, here's a little helpful hint. That's basically a hint for you to upgrade your gloves in order to be able to pick up spiky things. Unfortunately, here we go. Running out of air. So you can see down the bottom left there, your oxygen meter is starting to drop rapidly. Basically, when it hits about a quarter to a third of your oxygen capacity, it starts warning you to start hitting the roof. Now, the tutorial is quite comprehensive. It does cover both subgenres within the game. You get talked through how to behave and work underwater. You get taught, in a manner of speaking, how to do front of house at the sushi bar. You really do end up doing a lot of the work yourself. Bancho cooks, and you do everything else. Cobra gives you tasks or tells you what you need to do, and you go and do it. You are, in the parlance of today's language, the gopher. Well, today's language for me anyway. So you build your menu based on whatever fish you've caught that day. Or I should point out that fish doesn't hang around. At the end of each night when the bar closes, any leftover unsold fish get chucked out. Bancho has a policy of everything must be absolutely fresh, and when it comes to fish, yeah, that's a good ethic to go by. Here you are being trained how to pour green tea. Now that little green arrow blinking on the right hand side, that's your marker to aim for, and if you stop just a little short of that marker, the last slop tends to fill it up right to the perfect line. And as it says, the closer to perfect you get, the more the customers will pay for the drink. And you want them to pay as much as you can get out of them. Capitalism, eh? Now you might notice that the sushi bar is looking a bit rough. The story does explain why that happens. And one of your missions early on in the game is to earn enough money to instigate repairs. So your first night running the business, quite important. And here's where Cobra shows you what a knob he really is. I struggle to understand why the devs created a character that is just so instantly greasy and hateable as Cobra, but he's a foil for your big, cuddly, lovable Dave. And as someone who knows quite a few Daves, everybody needs a Dave in their life. So here we go. Day one of Bancho Sushi, even though it should really be Dave Sushi. As you can see on the right hand side, Bancho is busy churning out sushi, and that's what all that dish noise is all about. He'll say that every time a dish is completed. And it's time to go and get them. Pick them up, and you can see highlighted who has ordered the dish you have grabbed, and if multiple people order the same dish, all of their little bubbles will light up. It's important to aim for the ones that are flashing, followed by the ones that, priority is the speech bubbles that have the most red filling them up. Second priority is white but with flashing. Third priority is everybody else. And yes, you have to clean up your dishes. Click, 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 click. The problem with that is if you leave them, customers say bad things about the restaurant. If you do them immediately, you could end up running behind. Now, early in the game, That's not a big problem. The customers are few and far between, and they are relatively patient. As you get further on, however, you get more and more customers. They get less and less patient and more demanding. But here we go. End of night 1. Did well. No expenses. You get little flame rewards and all sorts of things. Now, each of these rewards and stuff like that, they do have a purpose. They are a form of in-game currency. So try and earn the best you can. Here we go. Our first mission, or outside mission. So this bossy college student is basically telling you, while you're down there, get me this stuff. Oh, and, I'll give you a little reward. Now, the rewards are pretty much raw materials you need for various tasks for most of the missions. So, time to dive. And yes, you do need to press and hold the space bar to trigger those actions. Once that little line around the button starts to build, if you let go of the space bar, it resets. So press and hold, press and hold. Now, there we go. You can see that this is a different terrain, and yet from the surface, I jumped into the water at the same spot. Raw materials, I think that's wood. Yeah. While not always essential, it's a good idea to grab them if you can do so without jeopardizing your mission or your air supply. You never know when you're going to need them, and it pays to have them, because there are parts of the game, well, there are times you dive and there are very few raw materials of any kind, let alone the ones you want. For example, one of the missions, now that nasty little fish with the red sim icon above him, that tells you he is not a normal fish. He is an attacker. He's going to come after you. He doesn't like being shot at, but he does not go away. He will keep coming back. But you've got to get raw materials for the sushi, for the restaurant, because if you come back to shore with no raw materials, there is no point opening the store. You will still end up paying operating costs. Bancho wants his wages, electricity has to be paid, but with an inability to actually earn money, your finances don't look too good. So every time you're in the water, be sure to grab food stock. Oh, just out of range. Oh, pufferfish. You got to see this. So pufferfish is one of the passive defending fish. Oh, there comes that active little bugger. Yeah, knife him, knife him, knife him, knife him. There we go. Red lionfish. So even though he was an attacker, he can still be turned into sushi. Anything down here can be turned into sushi. There is literally a recipe for a stuffed shark's head. Now, these active defenders, your harpoon doesn't work on them, okay? When they're in puffed up mode, and that will vary by fish. When they're in their active phase, they cannot be harmed by the harpoon. It bounces off. Some of them, if they go passive, nope, time to get out, running out of air. Yeah, when they go passive like that, you can actually skewer them, and if you've got enough skill and your weaponry is advanced enough, you can actually catch them, take them back to the restaurant, and feed them to your guests. Ah, you actually brought them back. I guess I expected too little of you. Yay, patronizing. That wins out, doesn't it? And there's your reward. Soy sauce, olive oil, yay! Oh, and gold. So that's mission, the first big mission, repair the sushi, repair Bancho sushi. By earning enough gold to pay for the repairs, the restaurant gets polished up, and you can actually... I'll add a clip of that later on in the video. So, yeah, checking out the fish you caught, hand them over to Bancho. And as the game progresses, your little mobile phone picks up all sorts of apps, and you saw notifications popping up there. The Cook Star, I mean, that's Instagram for restaurants in particular, or chefs. Not 100% sure, because the whole business seems to focus on Bancho and revolve around Cobra, even though you as Dave are doing all the grunt. Let's go for another dive. So, inked out. Got to be careful of squids, they will ink you out. Oh, I found an artifact. Ancient artifact. Oh, underwater quake. Or is it a quake? I mean, that would make some big calamari sushi, that beastie would. Don't worry, you will get to meet him later. So, I wanted to show you, I'm at a critical depth. Yeah, I failed a mission to go and free a dolphin. Now, the problem with getting caught in a downwash like this is that you run out of air or you get attacked by a fish, and when you get rescued, whatever you're carrying, you can bring one item back. So when you start to see warnings flashing, it's time to head for the surface, like it or lump it. So this section's actually was played a little further down the track after I'd progressed. As you can see, I've upgraded the harpoon. It now has an electrified tip. Instead of hammering the space bar, you now alternate between left and right, A and D. And that sort of, I guess, yanks on the harpoon to try and get the fish to give in, and yep, got him. Now, if your fish are really difficult to get with the harpoon, you can use your diver's knife or any other bladed weaponry that you find. The most common one to find in treasure chests underwater is either some form of gun or harpoon or spear, or in terms of bladed weapon, it's usually a katana. Now, katanas are great. They give you excellent reach, and they do a really good job, especially as they get upgraded. And of course, you've got your weaponsmith who will help you make weaponry that you need. Seems to focus, at least in the early parts of the game, on guns, but he's a weaponsmith. Now, this is handy if you get stuck. If you're carrying too much weight or you're running out of air, if you can get to that, that's basically your lifesaver. I will have to show you a clip of that later on because it is quite important. Ooh, parrotfish. Nope, can't get him with that, but I did previously get him quite successfully with a katana. So there I've just swapped weapons. I've gone from a single hook to a triple hook. I still can't get that fish. Fight, 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 fight. Yes, got him. So there's all sorts of things you can do. Keep in mind that this early in the game, now he's an attacker fish. You see the little red symbol above him. So I basically want to hook him. You want to shoot, shoot, shoot. Slice, slice, slice. Get him, get him, get him. If you stay too close to the fish, he will get you before you get him. Come on, 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 come on. Yes! Got him. That'll teach you to attack me, you little golden fiend. Oop, found Dory. Is it Dory? No, it's a triggerfish. Still, looks like Dory. I'm going to pretend it's Dory. We've seen all the memes about found Nemo. Well, I've found Dory. Ish. So, things to discover as you get further into the game. Artifacts, lost civilizations, sea creatures, baddies with dive suits, submarines, whales of various sorts, some of which you can even tame if you have a look at the trailer. Oh, ammo, ammo, ammo. Here we go. I'm thinking it might be time for me to head for the surface really soon. Yeah. Nope, can't get him, not even with the electrified barbs. Yep, time to head north. Actually, no, this is where I show you this. So you press and hold the space bar for a few seconds and the escape pod pops up. You get decompressed. Now, here's the clip I promised you about customizing the interior. Oh no, this is a serving one, sorry. I've got a few little clips here. So after the day's efforts of hunting down fish, it's time to do my slave duty, and of course, because I'm tired after a day of diving, I'm not on par with the pouring, so you've got to stop just that little bit earlier. There we go. Now this is what I was meaning earlier about how the further through the game you go, the busier things get. And unfortunately, you can't choose the order in which you grab the food. So on there on the right hand side, I'm going to have a very pissed off customer. Yep, he's left in a huff. That's lost money. Grab the food. So the food is prepared in the order it was ordered, but it's not necessarily grabbed in the order it was ordered. So you have to be careful. Now I made a bit of a tactical blunder there, and I'm going to lose another one. It's better to chase down the customers that are further away from the kitchen if you've got to make a choice. But still record profit because I picked really, really good fish to catch. Here we go, customizing the sushi bar. So you can change your tables, or the bench as it is. And the further through the game you go, the more customizations you can unlock. You can customize the chairs independently. Try and mix and match them for a nice aesthetic. And no, don't want that. I like that. It kind of gives me that Asian-esque vibe. Unfortunately, to purchase the upgraded chairs and ceiling is $465. I don't have enough. It took me a few seconds to figure out what was going on here because I'd forgotten that I hadn't reset the chairs. And then, oh, click, yeah, chairs. Right, let's go back to one I already own so I don't have to spend more money. But I really do want that upgraded ceiling. Pow, pow, and there it is. Now, as well as upgrading your establishment, you can, of course, upgrade your food. You saw that little arrow in the top left of that icon? Close that. I can enhance it. Now, enhancing it uses stock. And every now and then you get little animations. Normally I would skip them, but this one was funny. Yeah, warning, bit loud coming up. So it's kind of frustrating how it starts so loud, and until you get the smartphone, you can't actually change the settings. And that menu is a bit annoying, but that's really the only glitch I could find that really bugged me. Thanks for watching, folks. I really appreciate your support. Please hit that thumbs up like button and show me what you do and don't like. Give me a comment, tell me what you do and don't like so I can do better, and share it with your mates so they can give their feedback as well. Hitting that subscribe button will help me make this channel into something really worthwhile. I also want to give a big shout out to the Patron Pack, the people who make all of this possible. Thank you to Jeremy, Alex, Michelle M, Shelley, Kathleen, Miriam, and Michelle H. Why not join the Patron Pack? For as little as $2 per month, you'll get your name in every video, in every issue, and there's access to perks and merch. Check it out, saywhat.nz/Patreon, or just go to the website and hit that orange Patron button up there in the left. Awesome. Have a great time, guys, and thank you again.